Okay, so we will go ahead and get started. Good morning, everyone. My name is Robin Mooring, and I'm the program coordinator for Students at Work. And this is the Students at Work First Responder Industry Spotlight Day. And this session is going to focus on the North Carolina Highway Patrol. Teachers and students, we just ask that you mute yourselves and you turn off your video, so that the only person, and also change your view to speaker view, so that the only person we're seeing is Trooper Gladden. And now I will turn it over to Trooper Gladden to hear, so we can all hear everything he has to say.
All right, good morning, everyone. I'm going to start off by giving you a brief background of myself and how I became a North Carolina State Trooper. So I was born and raised in Charlotte, North Carolina. I graduated from Butler High School. Once I graduated from Butler, I went to North Carolina A&T State University in Greensboro, North Carolina, where I studied criminal justice. While in college, I was very involved. I actually did modeling for my university. I was the marketing and promotions chairperson for the Student Union Advisory Board. I also ran orientation over the summer for incoming freshmen, and I was also part of the first year experience at my university. So I was in a lot of different things that I benefited from, joining all those different organizations. Once I graduated from North Carolina A&T, I moved back home to Charlotte, and I actually started working at Best Buy as an asset protection specialist. So I was one of the guys that you see in Best Buy in the yellow shirt at the front door that try to, deter theft and things of that nature. Shortly after that, I started working for the state of North Carolina. I was working as a correctional officer in a prison in Salisbury. That was an interesting position, working in a prison. I did learn a lot. I learned a lot about communicating to people and just understand that these are normal people who made mistakes and just trying to better themselves. Once I left there after about 2 years, and then I became a Mecklenburg County probation and parole officer for the state of North Carolina. I did that for about 2 years, handling individuals who either served time in prison and got out on parole, or those who, instead of going to prison, they were put on probation and had to follow conditions set by the judge in their case. And I just had to ensure that they were following, doing what they're supposed to, going to school or either working, and just staying out of trouble and trying to motivate them to better themselves out in the community. After doing that for 2 years, I then became a North Carolina State Trooper. I went through the 139th Basic School for the Highway Patrol in March of 2016. It was a 30-week school where I had to stay at the academy Sunday through Friday for 30 weeks straight. And then I graduated September 30th of 2016. So this September will make it 6 years for me, and I'll be a Master Trooper in September. And that just means I'll get a new badge that says Master Trooper versus this one that says Senior Trooper that I received after 3 years on. I started working for the Highway Patrol in Charlotte. I did work the road for about 2 years. And when I say I worked the road, that essentially means I was out, working collisions that you see on the interstate and enforcing speed enforcement, and also looking for those that might be driving after consuming too much alcohol. So I did that for about 2 years on the road, and then I switched over to recruiting the Charlotte area. So my job then became more so off the road in the office, seeking qualified applicants who want to be state troopers. And my job was tasked to assist them through the application process to get them into the patrol school to become troopers. I worked for about a year and a half in Charlotte before I transferred to Raleigh, where I now recruit for the Raleigh area, and I also recruit for all the out-of-state applicants. So I'm constantly talking to people all over the United States, even all over the world, for those that's in the military that might be stationed in Korea, Germany. I get a lot of their phone calls of them having interest in joining the Highway Patrol once they are out of the military. So now I'm gonna go into my PowerPoint presentation just to give you some information on the Highway Patrol, a lot of things that you might not know. So as you see this first slide, this is not a typical cruiser car. As you see behind me in my image, you will see our staple cars, the silver Dodge Charger V8 Hemi. It's silver with the black stripe. This right here in this photo on this front slide, that's going to be our ghost car. At night, it looks completely black if you were to look at it with no light flashing on it. But once the headlights from a car or street lights hit it, you will see that bronze type stripe appear that you can barely see in this image. This was a photo that we took at our actual driving track that we have at the Highway Patrol, where we train troopers how to drive at high speeds and do evasive maneuvers. And we submitted this for a competition for best state trooper vehicle. I believe we got second place this year when we submitted this photo. All right, we can go to the next slide. So a big thing about the Highway Patrol that we're trying to fix is that, we have a ton of vacancies. I know y'all are in middle school, but if you watch the news or you hear your parents speaking about, businesses that are closing early now, because a lot of these places are having a shortage in employees. So they don't have the staff to operate normal business hours. And the same thing is affecting the Highway Patrol. As you see, we have about 200 vacancies revolving. All the time we have about 200 vacancies. And that makes the job harder on the state troopers that are trying to serve the community. And it also makes it hard on the community. So if someone, is in a collision and they're sitting on the side of the road waiting on a state trooper, that time might be extended due to the shortage of troopers that we have. We can go to the next slide. So the challenges that we face in getting new troopers, of course, is recruiting. Myself and we have 7 other state troopers throughout the state that do the same job that I do in recruiting. So the challenges in us being short, it calls for like officer safety issues. Sometimes, honestly, there might be 1 or 2 state troopers working a whole county by themselves at night. So if you take like Mecklenburg County, Charlotte, it's a big county. You have all of 485 interstate, and you have all of 77 interstate and interstate 85. And, you might have just 1 or 2 troopers working overnight. So that's an officer safety issue. And it's also like calls for service. It takes us a long time to get to certain calls due to those shortages. We can go to the next one. So a brief history of the Highway Patrol and why we came about. So in 1921, for you all, it might seem like forever ago, but there was 150,000 motor vehicles on the road. In 1929, just 8 years later, you will see that the number of motor vehicles on the road increased by 350,000. And compared to today, you will see there's about 3.5 million motor vehicles on the road. In 1929, there was 690 traffic collisions that resulted in a death in those collisions. That pushed the General Assembly to pass an act authorizing the State Highway Patrol. And our jobs was to patrol the highways, enforce motor vehicle laws, and assist the motoring public. Go next. And in 1929, we had our first basic patrol school. And as you can see, they are all on Harley Davidson motorcycles. That's all they drove back in 1929. In that first patrol school, there was 37 patrolmen. Today, we're called state troopers. Back then, when we first started our agency, we were called patrolmen. And the reason they were called patrolmen is because women were not allowed to be state troopers. We had a lot of strict guidelines. You had to be a certain height, actually about 6'1", 6'2", and a certain weight. So we had weight limit, height limit, and you had to be a male. The supervisors, the people that the patrolmen reported to, they drove those green old Model A Ford coupes that you see pictured on the left. And like I said before, the patrolmen, they drove these Harley Davidson motorcycles. The current state of North Carolina State Highway Patrol, this is dated from 2019, but not much has changed since these stats were put into this PowerPoint. We do have about 1,780 trooper positions. Like I said, around 200 openings all the time. And we do patrol 78,000 miles of highways in North Carolina. And to put that in perspective, that is the second most highway mileage, only to Texas. So North Carolina, we do have a lot of highways, and we're trying to open up our allotment of troopers. I will get into the mission statement of the Highway Patrol, what we do and what we stand for. Our mission statement is to safeguard and preserve the lives and property of the people in North Carolina. And we do that two ways. The first way we do it is through education. Basically what I'm doing now, I'm educating you all. We also have TSI troopers in each troop throughout the Highway Patrol in the state of North Carolina. And what their job is to go out and speak to teen drivers, about, not using their phone, being safe while driving, common mistakes that teenagers or inexperienced drivers make while driving. They also speak with older drivers about them keeping up with their medical and making sure that, they're still able and able to drive, basically. They also speak with commercial vehicle drivers. So those big tractor trailers that you see driving down the interstate, it's very important that they're up to date on the laws and regulations, because some of the stuff that they are transporting up and down the interstate can be very hazardous. That's regulated by the federal government, and we implement those laws. Like I said, we do distracted driving training, and we also do awareness on driving while impaired. And when I say that, some of you all may not know, but driving while impaired is if someone drinks too much alcohol or is on prescription drugs, medication, or narcotic drugs, and now they're impaired. I mean, they can't walk right, they can't think right, their reaction time to things is much slower, so they do not need to be driving. Next one. Also, the second way that we safeguard and preserve the lives and property of the people in North Carolina is through enforcement. And this is the big thing. That is us driving around the interstates, patrolling the interstates. And we also do a lot of special projects. As you see in this image, these are some state troopers that's in front of a Booze It and Lose It campaign trailer. We would take that trailer out on the interstate and we'll set up a roadblock, and we will make sure people have not had too much to drink to be driving. And we can run all the tests on that trailer. And sometimes, if we have to arrest people, we can do all our paperwork on this trailer before transporting them to the county jail. We also, with our special projects, we do work zone enforcements. So when you're with your parents and you're riding up and down the interstate and you see, those work zones, the construction crews working on the interstate with the big orange cones and the flashing yellow lights, you usually have to reduce your speed and move over. And we're there sitting in those work zones a lot of times, catching people that are speeding through, causing a hazardous workspace for those construction workers. We also have checkpoints where sometimes we will set up and just check license to make sure people do not have warrants for their arrest, like they're running from the law. And we also do seatbelt enforcement operations, where we will go into areas where we are seeing a lot of collisions and a lot of injuries due to people not wearing their seatbelts. And we will make it our mission to stop every car where we see a parent or child that does not have their seatbelt worn properly. And that's a big thing to us, because we see a lot of people who are killed for simply not wearing their seatbelt, which is very important to keep them buckled in that vehicle. Now, I'm gonna get into what does a trooper do, because a lot of people have these assumptions that, you know, I've heard many of times people think that if we get out our vehicle and we write a ticket to someone that was driving too fast and we don't have our hat on, that the ticket is not valid. And I don't know where that started, but that's not true. So I'm just going to educate all you all. If you see a trooper, or if a trooper happen to stop one of your parents, and if they do happen to, unfortunately have to write them a citation, a ticket, and they don't have their ticket on, it's going to stick. But we patrol the highways and we focus on impaired driving, speeding, and seatbelts. We patrol the roadways outside of the city limits, even though we can stop and arrest and enforce laws anywhere in the state of North Carolina, any public road or highway, street. We have jurisdiction statewide. We respond to calls for service, such as hazardous vehicle or roadway conditions. So if it snows a lot, we're on call to respond and help the public that might be stuck on the highway. A lot of times we get hazardous stuff that might be in the road. So someone might be driving down with a lot of stuff on a pickup truck, and things might fall off onto the interstate. And it's our job to clear that road so no one is driving and has to swerve and cause an accident, or strike that object in the road and damage their vehicle. So if you ever see a trooper on the highway driving side to side across all the lanes, slowing down traffic, a lot of people looking like, what is he doing? Why is he stopping traffic? That is because there's something hazardous in the roadway ahead, and there's troopers ahead in the roadway trying to drag whatever that is out of the road. So we got to get the highway slowed down and clear in order to get those things out of the interstate. We do respond to star HP calls. When I say star HP, if you pick up a cell phone and you're on the interstate, the quickest way to get to a state trooper is to dial star HP, which is star 47 on your phone. That will send the caller straight to our dispatch to get a trooper there as fast as possible. If you dial 911 currently, then you will go through the city dispatch, and they will have to patch you in through the highway patrol, and it's just extending your wait time to get to the highway patrol. And of course, we investigate collisions. As you see, this is a picture of a trooper investigating a pretty serious head-on collision that happened, and that's what we see all day is bad collisions like this due to people not paying attention while they're driving. A day in the life of a state trooper. Go to next. So a day in the life of a state trooper, it depends on what that state trooper is assigned to do. This image right here, as you see, he's not wearing the same uniform that I'm wearing, the Class A. And when I say Class A, that's, the formal uniform with the tie. He's wearing the Class B uniform, and he's a motor carrier enforcement trooper. So his job is to not ride around and stop regular civilians driving regular vehicles. They can, but that's not their priority. Their priority is to stop those big tractor trailers that you see and ensure that they're operating under the federal guidelines, and making sure if they're carrying hazardous materials, that they're carrying them in the proper way, and that they're not overweight as well. Some other specialized positions that we have a criminal interdiction team. As you see on the left, that trooper, he has a K9 with him, and his job is essentially to find drugs being transported on the interstate. and they are very successful. A lot of their interdiction help comes from citizens who are sending in tips, and they will stop them, have the dog sniff around. The dog hits on that vehicle, then they will begin a search and hopefully get drugs off the interstate. We also have a motor unit on the right. You see that trooper, he's on a motorcycle. We do not drive the Harley Davidsons anymore. We went to a more comfortable ride, and we drive the BMW motorcycles now. And those guys, they do the same job I do. They just do it on a motorcycle. We have a collision reconstruction unit, as you see on the left. Those guys, it's a team of troopers that are called to really, really bad collisions. Unfortunately, 2 years ago, we had a collision in Charlotte on 485 where 5 people were killed in one collision from the same family. We knew that was going to go to court. We knew there was going to be 5 murder charges for the guy who caused that collision, who was speeding recklessly and was impaired on drugs and alcohol. So we had the collision reconstruction team come out to that scene the following day, and we closed down the interstate and they remapped the whole collision. So once it does go to trial, the jury can basically see everything that happened more clearly. And we use drone cameras that go up in the sky and map out the entire area. And we do a lot of measurements and calculations to see how fast the car was going, when they hit the brakes. It's a lot of information that we are able to get from the roadway and also from inside the car. We also have an aviation unit. We have 3 helicopters within the Highway Patrol, and majority of their missions are to assist the federal government that might be running operations, and also to look for older people who may be lost or children who may have been kidnapped. When you see those Amber Alerts, we usually have the aviation unit in the sky looking for those vehicles when we do have Amber Alerts. And it's something you may not know about those helicopters that we have. We might have those helicopters in the air following a car, and that helicopter might be 3 miles from that vehicle that we're following, and they can zoom in and see crystal clear in that vehicle, and that car has no idea that that helicopter is anywhere near them. So that's an interesting fact on those helicopters. Pretty cool. We also do governor security. So right now, current governor is Roy Cooper. This is an image of the governor's mansion. That's where the governor of North Carolina lives. And we provide 24/7 security for the governor. So if you see Roy Cooper, if he comes to your school and speak, or you see him on TV and you see the guys in suits, that's not the Secret Service like for the president. Those are state troopers that are wearing those suits. That's they do a lot of special detail for the governor. And we also have other troopers throughout the state who do not live at, that does not work at the mansion, but they do protect other special dignitaries that might come into the city. So if the vice president comes or other governors come to, let's say, Charlotte, we have troopers there who are trained in executive protection, who are tasked to assist with the Secret Service or pick up the governor from the airport and transport him to and from wherever he or she is going. These are some brief benefits. I'm not gonna go too in depth on the benefits of being a state trooper, but one of the big things is that we have up to 103% annual salary retirement. And when I was in middle school, retirement and all that stuff, that was just never on my mind at all. I didn't even look towards that. But once you do get into the workplace, retirement is very important because you want to know how you're going to live and what type of life you will be able to live once you are retired and you are done working. So for us, if I work my full 30 years with the Highway Patrol, which I am, I will get 103% of my top 4-year annual salary average. So if you take my highest paid 4 years with the Highway Patrol, let's say I'm making $100,000, for the last 4 years, I'm a trooper. When I retire, I'm essentially going to get a 3% raise and make 103% to stay at home. So that is amazing and unheard of. Go next. We do have, we do get a lot of holidays off if you are in the position that I am. If you're on the road, then you will get paid time and a half for working holidays if you're doing patrol. We do have take home cars. So every day I do drive this is a picture of my vehicle. I do get to bring that home every day, which is wonderful. It saves me a lot of maintenance and gas on my personal vehicle. And we also provide troopers with our uniforms. So you don't have to pay for your uniforms. You don't have to pay for gas or any of that. If you want to continue to go to college, or if you want to go to college and you're a state trooper, we do provide tuition reimbursement. If you do get a C or better in that class. Go next. We do also have tons of different insurance, like most jobs. We also do provide leave if you want to go to college. Here's a brief salary schedule of our current salary. For those that are in patrol school, they actually have a pretty low salary that should be getting a very big jump here in this next July, we're hoping. But once they graduate from patrol school, they go to $48,500, and every 12 months after graduating, it goes up 6.5%. And after 6 years of having service, you are at $70,868 salary. And once you become a sergeant, you go to around 83, 85,000, first sergeant around 93,000, and then lieutenant around 103, 104. And it just keeps going up as you promote to captain, major, lieutenant colonel, and colonel, which makes, I believe, around $150,000 a year. Minimum requirements of the Highway Patrol: you have to, graduate high school or have a GED. Those are minimum requirements for education. We do like when people have college, but it's not a requirement because we will teach you everything you need to know while you're in patrol school. Go next. You must be 21 or older, must have decent vision. If you do not have at least 20/30 vision, then you must have contacts or glasses. Next. Keep going. You cannot have any serious charges on your record. So in order to be a trooper, you must stay out of trouble. It's okay if you have tickets and stuff of that nature, as long as you don't have a lot of speeding tickets, because, it'd be a very high risk of us hiring you, seeing that our job is to ensure people are driving safely. You will get disqualified from us if you've done any serious drugs ever in your life. If you committed a felony ever in your life, you will be automatically disqualified from ever being a state trooper and applying with us. We do have fitness standards, and there's a Cooper fitness assessment that you must be a 50 percentile based off your age and sex in order to be a state trooper. Go next. Go next. Qualities that we look for: that you're in physical shape, you have good communication skills, and you talk to other people with respect, and you're professional while talking to them. Next. Our hiring process: once you apply with us and you turn in your paper application, you have a polygraph examination, which is basically a lie detector test. We also do a background check on you. We talk to your friends, the people you have worked for, the schools you went to, the places you lived. We do a thorough background. And then we have a review board interview where we ask you questions, and we decide then and there if we're going to offer you the job. Next. Then you have a medical exam, a physical, the Cooper fitness assessment I was telling you about, where you have to run a 1.5 mile run, a 300-meter sprint, and do as many push-ups and sit-ups as you can in 1 minute. And if you do get a final job offer, then you will start patrol school. And next, we're going to play a video to show you how patrol school is. And it's pretty chaotic. It's kind of like the military, as if any of you may have parents in the Marine Corps, it's kind of like the Marine Corps. Go next.
Do you want me to go ahead and show the video now before these slides?
Yes, you can. So this video is a video that we usually show at like the state fair for people to come up and just see how we train and what we actually do while we're in patrol school for those 25 to 30 weeks. Birthday.
And give back. Do you? Yes, sir. It's gonna be worth it. That's up to you. Are you ready? Yes, sir. Until you know. There you go.
Oh, what happened?
So we are actually, since we're close to the end of our time, we're actually
Okay.
just gonna stop now and go ahead and take questions if any of the students have those. And teachers, just know that we can send you the link to the video as well. So you can show the rest of it to your class afterward. But does anybody have any questions?
So what courses should students take in high school if they're interested in being a state trooper?
So when I was in high school, I've always wanted to be in law enforcement. Never really knew what a state trooper was until I graduated from high school, but I always wanted to work with Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department because that's where I grew up and that's all I saw. Essentially, as long as you graduate, but courses that might benefit you is math courses, because we do a lot of math when it comes to doing collisions and trying to estimate how fast they were going and when they hit their brakes, how long they traveled on and off the road. Also, any communication courses, because you're going to be out in the public, communicating with people on a daily basis. So those will help you out a lot.
Okay. And are there any female state troopers, or what percentage would you say?
Yeah, so we within the highway patrol, about 10% of the highway patrol is female. Is very, very low number. We are trying our hardest to get more and more state troopers. Usually we have a school of about 40 to 50 people, and it'd be about two to three females in that school. But yes, there are female state troopers.
And how long is the training to become a state trooper again?
So if you go to a community college first and you get your basic law enforcement training certification, then patrol school for you will be 12 to 15 weeks because you do not have to do the BLET portion of patrol school. But if you do not have any experience and you come to our patrol school, then it'll be 25 to 30 weeks long.
And something you had mentioned before was that you had gone and gotten your degree in criminal justice. How do you think that helped you going into being a state trooper? Would you suggest that?
Yes. So when I was in patrol school, myself, having a criminal justice bachelor's degree, there were only two people in my patrol school actually who had bachelor's degrees, and it just made the curriculum, the coursework so much easier. I had the second highest GPA in my patrol school, and it was only by a fraction of a point. And so it just made it so much easier. A lot of the terms they were using, I was already familiar with from my coursework in school.
Okay. And you mentioned tuition reimbursement. Are you able to have your tuition paid?
Yes, so we do have a limit on how many credits that you can actually submit for tuition reimbursement, but you must have a C or better in that course, and it must be related to our job, obviously. So basically social sciences courses, political science, criminal justice, sociology courses like that, or public administration courses.
And is that only going to apply to courses you take after you become a trooper, or will it be able to apply retroactively?
So it's going to be courses that you take after you become a trooper. I wish it would go retroactive and I could get some of the money back for the courses I took before coming to the Highway Patrol.
Okay. Do we have any more questions to put in the chat? Let's give it a second. If a student is interested, do you have any internships or volunteer things?
Yes, so actually we have a few things. We do have a junior trooper school where if you are a junior, rising junior or senior in high school, you can come to our patrol school for 2 weeks in the summer and go through a shortened patrol school to see how it is. We also have internships for college juniors and seniors to participate for a semester and do ride-alongs, see what troopers do. And we also provide ride-alongs for those who are actually applicants. So if once you submit an application, you can do a ride-along with the state trooper. We also, we have mentorship programs. We have a breaks program for those that are just becoming drivers, and they can, we partner with, I believe it's Kia now, where you come to our driving track. And also the breaks program also does travel around North Carolina, where you will drive those Kia vehicles with the state trooper in the vehicle, and you do different evasive maneuvers and cone drills to be more comfortable driving. So we do a lot of things with students.
And our last question is, how long is the run test?
The run test, I'm assuming that's for our physical fitness assessment.
Yeah.
Right. So we do the 1.5 mile run, and on average, we ask that you run 1.5 miles in around 11 minutes. And once you graduate patrol school, most people in our patrol school are running the 1.5 miles in 8 minutes, believe it or not. That's how much we run. Every day at patrol school, we run anywhere from 1 to 5 miles. Every day we do PT starting at 5 a.m. till 7 a.m.
Wow. Okay, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Thank you so much for joining us today, Trooper Gladen. And thank you everybody who joined. Teachers, please remember to give those feedback surveys out to your students and have them answer. And other than that, I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Thank you again for joining us.
Thank you. Y'all have a good day.
Bye.